So hello again. For this second part of the audition video, I'm gonna talk about the questions that y'all gave about why I'm interested in working in a hospice bereavement setting, and also areas of growth I would like to improve in during internship, and also my relaxation techniques in a mock session. So for the first question, why am I so interested in hospice and bereavement, and why is that my kind of like top choice for internship? The first, I guess, category that really got me interested in hospice and thinking, hey, this is a really awesome field I never really heard about. I really would like to know more about it and work in it is actually personal experience. From the ages of 12 to around 17 or 18, my family and we had a lot of family members who were diagnosed with a lot of terminal illnesses or just had really rapid declining health and had hospice come into their homes during their last, 6 months or so of life. My grandfather on my dad's side died of kidney cancer in less than a year. I had an adopted grandma, a woman who basically raised my mom and raised us, and she had really declining health and died. And also her son, who had spina bifida, died. And just seeing, how awful these situations are, and just losing people that you love so much and are so close to, it's really hard. And at some points you think, how can these people who were in hospice come in and make things better? But after watching, nurses, social workers, and chaplains, and also just talking to music therapy students who worked in hospice that I met in Appalachian, it was just crazy. I mean, how much empathy and compassion and strength and courage you have to go into these homes and go into, work knowing what the outcome's going to be and still, be optimistic and still provide just an excellent level of care. So before I wanted to do music therapy, I knew about 14 or 15 I had to do hospice. It was just something I felt called to do. And also, about a year ago, I did lose a friend to suicide, and just seeing my friend, who was only 25, a great musician, a great person, just a person who loved to live, suddenly take his own life. It really hit home, and it really showed me the importance of people, to work in bereavement, and how important it is for these people to have all these set skills to go into a family unit and, really just help them process and grieve such intense emotions, especially during unexpected deaths like my friend's. Also, luckily, with my past internship, I was able to observe my supervisor do some sessions with people who are at the end of life, and we also got to see families come in and do compassionate end-of-life visits, and just getting a glimpse of that too really showed me, wow, this is an amazing field, and it takes a lot of strength and just a lot of other skills to really go in there, play some music and do what you can therapeutically to help the patient and their families. Also, too, growing up and talking to people and other clinicians, everybody typically wants to work with kids or mental health, and I think sometimes society as a whole forgets that death is a stage of life just like birth or marriage, and it still needs a lot of care, especially holistic care. Hospice is one of those fields where really you have to know the needs of every facet of the person, physical, emotional, cognitive, spiritual, the list goes on. So seeing how important it is to have holistic care in hospice is just astounding, that so many people, know all these set skills and can go into a session and know what to do and know what to address immediately within, just meeting the person is really remarkable. And I think that also just in general creates really adaptable, really flexible clinicians and music therapists. And also too, with hospice, there's really no typical or average hospice patient. You really do see all ages, ethnic groups, cultures, demographics, family units, socioeconomic statuses, everything. So I think it's important, and what attracted me so much to hospice is just the variety that you get and how truly no case is ever the same. And so with all these personal experiences, clinical observations, and just the uniqueness and individuality of hospice care, that's what really got me interested in hospice and bereavement. And for the next question about what personal and professional areas I hope to grow in during internship, the main three categories, of course, are professional growth, clinical growth, and musical growth. For professional growth, I just want to learn how to be a team player, truly know how each person in hospice makes a difference and how what they're doing is just as important as music therapy and other therapies at a hospice setting. Also, along with this, I would like to, learn how to address my biases when going into a patient's room and realizing, I may not have the same beliefs as them or their families, and also just with coworkers, because even at my internship, I really met a lot of people who had completely opposite beliefs of me, and processing that and learning how to, identify my own biases was very hard and something I'm still continuing to work on and identify today. Also, other things I like to do is just learning how to process my emotions. Hospice is a very, very emotionally and mentally draining field. So I really do hope just to learn how to process those emotions well, and also along with that, find coping skills and self-care skills that I can use, once I'm off the clock or not at work, and just, learn how to process them and still put myself first while also making sure the clients and the families get the best care that they deserve. And also, along with that, too, is learning boundaries. I know with hospice, your schedules are super flexible, sessions can cancel and change constantly, all day, every day, and just learning to set boundaries and, learning to say, hey, I have a pretty large caseload today. I won't be able to see, this client right now that you need me to, but how about I can find somebody else, or, maybe come back tomorrow or later this week. So those are the main ones I like to learn for professional skills. Clinical skills, some things I would really like to do. One is really working on my verbal skills, ways to validate them, identify their needs, preferably emotional, and just kind of knowing the right things to say. Also, along with this, really respecting sayings that may be offensive in certain cultures, and just knowing, the right and the wrong things to say overall according to each individual. Besides this, other basic skills I really like to improve on that go under the clinical category are being in the moment, empathy, adapting in a session when it is just completely goes unexpected and, you're just not sure what to do, and also unconditional positive regard. So that way when I go in, I'll be able to really build rapport with the patient, really establish a strong therapeutic client relationship, because that's the first thing you really have to do in order to give the patient the best treatment possible. And finally, for musical skills, one is improvisational skills. As being a classically trained pianist, you're really taught, don't add anything, don't take anything away, just follow, the score or that piece, note by note and by each dynamic mark and things like that. So learning to improvise for me will be a big stepping stone in my musicality, because for nearly 16 years I was taught, hey, don't improvise, don't change what's on the page. So that'll be a big area of growth for me. Also, like to learn a lot of a variety of relaxation techniques. I learned several apps, but I truly do feel like I can build upon the ones that I learned and also learn more and just know what to do and, learn different scripts in my head, so that way I won't have to go in really unsure or needing a piece of paper right beside me during a session. Along with relaxation techniques, I also like to learn a lot more advanced guitar techniques, especially, more tablature and learning how to sight read better in the moment. If a client requests a song, I'm able, to go to the guitar and play it in as similar of a style as the original artist would have. And also with that, just learning more repertoire on both guitar, piano, basic percussion, anything really, just to grow in those areas and know different music and be able to go into a session, and if they say, I want to play, oldie goldies or 70s rock, I can be like, okay, here, I have like 5 or 6 songs we could do. So also, the final thing is resiliency. I mentioned a little bit this in my essay responses, but just learning to be resilient after a long day of work and where things are crazy and I feel like giving up, and just knowing, being a professional clinician, being a music therapist is never going to be a straight path. It will constantly fluctuate up and down and diagonal and zigzag and everything. And just identifying that it's not going to be easy, and the point of being a professional, the point of wanting to improve yourself is to take those bad days and learn what you need to do with them and overcome them and to move forward. And that life in general and music therapy in general is a field that is constantly changing, constantly growing, and there's always room to learn, and there's always room for self-improvement. So that's the end of my verbal response to the questions. Thank you. So for this next part of the audition video that requires a brief mock relaxation session. It will consist of two parts. The first part being a relaxation script I will read off that will help the client close their eyes, take really deep breaths, gain an awareness of their breaths, and also relax their bodies. After that, I will ask them to imagine a really safe and peaceful place for them, whether it's fiction, make believe, or not. And then I will play a really short, condensed version of their relaxation guitar tab. As you relax, begin by gently closing your eyes. Take a full deep breath in and let it out. Again, breathe in and slowly breathe out. Check your body. Relax your arms. Take a deep breath in and let it all out. Now drop your shoulders. Now relax your legs and let your facial muscles relax loosely. While you breathe in, take the fresh, cleansing air, and while you breathe out, let go of all the worries of the day, all the anxieties that hold you down. Breathe them all out. And again, breathe in and breathe out. Allow yourself to relax deeper and deeper. As you continue to take deep breaths, if you have any unwelcome thoughts, breathe them out. For in these quiet moments, remember that this is your time to relax, and this is your time to let it all go. Again, breathe in and breathe out. Don't hold on to any of those unwelcome thoughts. And now, imagine a place that gives you a peaceful, easy feeling, and somewhere that you feel safe. It can be make-believe, or it can be real. Maybe it's somewhere that you've always wanted to go. It can be anywhere, just as long as it's a safe place for you. Thank you.